So, welcome to the Startup Days, and I would say my favorite session. It's called Unofficially Officially VCs on the Grill. So, basically, we're reversing what some of you early stage founders do regularly. We're going to have the VCs pitch. We're going to have a Q&A led by their portfolio startups, which are also successful founders in their own realm. And then we're going to have a few minutes for Q&A from you all. Now, why is reverse pitching and understanding due diligence of VCs important? My name is Isabel Siegrist, and I'm a VC myself, and I know from experience that you have to, as founders, understand who you take money from. Why? They're going to be invested for 10 to 15 years with you. They're going to go through thick and thin, and shit will hit the fan, and you will need support at one point. And so you better understand who these people are and why you should trust to take their money. So learn from these experienced founders on how they will do it. And you can also, at the end, we're going to also select the best pitch by applause volume, and I will get everybody to join us again here on the stage. So looking forward from some critical questions from the audience, some interesting questions from the founders, and great pitches from the VCs. So I will welcome on stage our first duo. It's from Bloomhouse Ventures. Oh, here we go. That's our timing. And that's what we're going to be doing. It's from Bloomhouse Ventures, Pascal Stürcher. Thank you, Pascal.
Hello.
And from Taskbase, Samuel. Pascal, take it away.
Thank you. So, welcome everyone. My name is Pascal. I'm the co-founder of Bloomhouse Venture, an early-stage venture capital firm based in Zug. If you are building a consumer app for dog walking or the next crypto marketplaces, I'm probably the wrong guy to talk to you. But if you are building complex B2B software, robotics, or the next fusion reactor, then you have my full attention. Our investment thesis is built on a very specific view of the world. Look where we are today, in the middle of the DACH region. Historically, we built the best machines in the world for the production of cars, chocolate, and watches. Now AI is completely changing where enterprise value is created. Everyone is talking about massive foundation models, but let's be honest, those are becoming commodities. The real magic and the real mode is operational context. You can't train an AI to run a German manufacturing plant just by feeding it with Reddit forums and Wikipedia. It requires deep, closed-source, complex industrial data and knowledge. On top of that, we are facing an aging workforce, high labor costs, and expensive energy. You're right, this sounds like a complaint, but it's actually the greatest opportunity for automation we ever seen. It creates a non-optional demand for embedded, efficient-driven software, automation, and robotic solution. At Bloomhouse, we back the founders who see this not as a crisis, but as an opportunity. We partner with teams that tackle this exact challenge and translate deep industrial or commercial complexity into high scalable, globally defensible businesses. To fuel this, we write initial checks between 250 and 500,000 Swiss francs, focusing strictly on B2B across industry tech, energy tech, and digitalization. But let's be honest, capital alone is easy to find. What sets Bloomhouse apart is our operator DNA. As general partners, we combine engineering background with business economics and real hands-on entrepreneurial experience. We don't just understand the cap table, we understand the technology, the market physics, and how hard it is actually to build from day one. And someone who knows exactly what it's like to build in the trenches with us, it's my guest today, Samuel. So Samuel, let's jump. So Samuel, yeah, let's jump into the question. So
Okay, first a round of applause for Pascal's pitch.
That was
He was really on point.
it was really on the point. So yeah, Samuel. So we first invested in Taskbase during your seed round back in 2003, joining forces with two Dutch VCs. For the audience here today, could you give us a quick elevator pitch on what Taskbase does and contrast where the company stood back then versus where you are today?
Samuel, I think you really have to manage this Q&A now.
Okay.
Okay, and please stand next to Pascal.
Okay, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm happy to give you a quick introduction to Taskbase, what we are doing. We are helping sales teams reaching targets. Therefore, we have built an AI sales coach living directly in Team Slack, where your team is. So we guide the sales team, our sales team, or potentially your sales team in the future through the day, giving them long-term advice as a coach, as a sports coach, giving them insights how to perform better in calls, but also give them tactical advice for the next sales call, giving them signals saying, hey, Pascal was yesterday on a pitch and he was talking about these fast-scaling sales departments. That would be a nice angle to approach. We're giving also a follow-up email, so we help where we can, but focusing on long-term skill development in sales and having their massive impact in sales performance for our customers. Yeah, that's what we are doing as of today.
So where do you stand in regarding numbers? 3 years ago, today, what did you achieve in the meantime? Did business change in the meantime?
Well, I'm doing a very bad job in in handling this Q&A, but I'm happy to happy to give some insight. So we are coming from we are an ETH spin-off, and what we have built back in the days is an AI agent platform. And when you jumped in, you saw that we have a huge potential from a technical perspective, from a team perspective, but that we need to find a way how to access the market, and that was exactly what happened the last 1-2 years to find a way to commercialize our technology and having there the success we have as of today. Let me ask a question then. I mean, that's one in a lifetime opportunity. Well, as you said, we are working together with 2 other VCs, one from Brussels and one from Amsterdam, and you are the only Swiss VC in our board. What would you say, Pascal or Blumhaus, separate yourself from the other guys sitting in the board?
Yeah, so I think what I always try to be is try to get to be the first call. So when shit hits the fan, I would like to have that you as a founder, that you call me first. I don't know if I really have achieved that, but I think when I look back on the last 3 years, it was quite, I would say, quite on eye-level communication. Also, quite often, I remember there were times when we were talking almost daily or at least once a week, mostly on Friday afternoon. But yeah, so what I want to be that we are really a trustful relationship, and that you come all with your challenges around to me. And I don't know how do you see the collaboration, from your unfiltered perspective as a founder?
Tricky one. No, obviously from VCs, what you want to have is cash, but beside of cash, I think also to having trust is a very important value you can get. I think getting trust also has a lot to do with the willingness to take risks. I see.
Samuel, did he deliver on being the most trusted person that you call today?
Yeah, I call him quite early. I would say there was definitely this time when I was calling Patrick almost every Friday, and it felt a little bit kind of not a high performance week when I did not call Patrick. So what was wrong? I did not call Patrick. I need to do that next week again.
Wait, that's it. So you have one more shot at a question, and then I'm opening for Q&A, Samuel.
Another question.
Yeah.
Boy, that's where have we been on stage last time?
Oh no, no.
Short answer,
oh,
10-second
no.
ask it, Pascal.
Oh no, I would say today.
Okay, good.
Is it
No,
true?
to be honest, it was so we were together at Slush, last November.
Great answer.
And-
That's all we got for Pascal and Samuel. So
And,
round of applause.
And it was at the karaoke evening,
Samuel,
not at the pitching
I have to really.
evening.
We have to stop. So
Thank
sorry.
you.
I'm really like sharp as you would be with the startups. We have 3 questions from the audience. Who's going to go first? Again, we're under tight time management here, so have them ready. None. Pascal, you must have swayed them very much. Yeah.
Tell us more.
Okay.
So to be honest, that was the last time we were together on the stage. So it was karaoke night. It was about, I would say, 1,000, 2,000 people in there. And there were some ladies around us.
So
and
our
they,
CS
and
CEO
they said if they are going to make it to the stage, we have to come with them to the stage.
And the good thing is it is really telling a lot about the founder VC kind of relationship. So we told my COO and the CFO of you, we said, well, when we do karaoke, you guys need also to come. And we said, well, they never achieved that. So we said, well, we come. They achieved to go there. We went up, they gave us the microphone. So the other 2 has been singing, but the moderator was what these 2 guys are doing. So, dancers. Okay, fine. For 1,000 people, we're not prepared for that. But it got even worse. So then the moderator was saying, take it off. And then 1,000 people were saying, take it off, take it off. So I was looking to Pascal. Pascal was switching out shirt. I was just standing in front of 1,000 people there, and I could just lose. I could take off the shirt, so I was in front of all these investors and startup people half naked, or I can stand there as an idiot, just doing nothing and look very boring. So that's sometimes working with VCs, but happy to do it with Pascal.
Well, that's we have one more question here.
I have a question for you, Pascal. Do you invest in deep tech photonics?
Yeah, that for sure we are looking at such kind of cases. Yeah,
One last question from the audience for this duo.
there behind you.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Hi, Zanele from South Africa. I just want to understand, are there any specific industries that you're looking to fix the complexities for? I'm working on a startup that is fixing a problem for the retail space. And yeah, I just want to know if you have certain...
Yeah, so normally we really focusing on B2B business models. So as soon as it becomes like in the direction of health tech or
5 seconds.
med tech and also consumer oriented, then we normally step back. Then it's not our case.
Great job, Pascal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then next up, we have a duo that is coming together with Da, Bertrand, and Sami, Largo AI. Big applause for you two.
Thank you.
Then Bertrand, take it away. The clock will start ticking.
Yeah, I understand I'm the only one with slides, so maybe I'm too serious. But anyway, so this is a little bit a snapshot of what we are doing in our fund called Tech 2091 Ventures. So we invest in deep techs. You have the list here. So artificial intelligence, robotics, AR, VR are the main topics. And we invest also in structural trends, but we try also to anticipate these trends. Typically, we started to invest in AI 8 years ago. So before there was a ChatGPT 2.5 years ago. It's super important for us because you have to remember when you exit, you must be in the trend, not when you invest. And that is super important. So investment stage, pre-Series A to Series A+. And geography, a strong focus in Switzerland, but we have also a couple of startups in France and also in core Europe. And we have a pretty concentrated portfolio of 15 companies. B2B, and the ticket size, you see it from 500,000 to 5 million over the investment cycle. And the second slide, and there is only 2 slides actually. So in a nutshell, what is very important for us is to have high conviction on every startup we invest into. So it's really concentrated portfolio, and we spend a lot of time with our investments. We don't put too much overweight on the company, so not asking too many reports and so on. But we like to be here as a sparring partner, especially in critical phases. So really the trust aspect and the communication aspect for us is very central. The less we communicate, usually, the more shitty the situation is, and this is a very classical pattern. So when people tend to not communicate, suddenly you discover that there are very difficult things happening. So our team, we are a seasoned team, we are multidisciplinary, so we come from different backgrounds, entrepreneurship, finance, strategic selling. So typically we have some domain expertise in very specific things, like how you sell to large companies, because at the end of the day, you are building businesses and you must sell something. And we have also, of course, talents in finance and also understanding the technology you are in. We bring, as many people will tell you, a network, but this is real, a network of potential customers, large companies, partners, and so on. And we always participate either as board members or as board observers in companies. So this is non-negotiable because this really allows very direct and close communication with our startups. So I guess that's it. And maybe I introduce Sami. So Sami is...
Big round of applause for you. You still had 30 seconds to go, so next time you can beef up your presentation a bit even more. Okay, please, Sami, take it away.
Yeah, hello everybody. I am Sami Arpas, CEO of Largo. And what we do, we provide artificial intelligence support for film and advertising industries. We are predicting the success of a content before they are produced by using our simulated focus groups. We create digital populations. We show the content idea to these digital populations and get their reactions to see if they like the project or not. And we have got DAA as one of our earliest investors, actually. First VC that we have invested to us 6 years ago, I believe. Yeah. And I think my first question can be relevant to that. So once we started, we were quite outlier, actually, in typical Swiss startup ecosystem, developing AI before AI was popular, AI solutions for Hollywood, being here in Switzerland. So how did you make the decisions? So actually, most of VCs rejected us at that moment. You were the one that decided to make that investment.
Yeah, actually, it was not really the AI which drove us to the investment. It was the inefficiency of an industry, which is a movie industry, which is managing trillions of dollars, and in fact is very inefficient in allocating the capital in terms of film production or advertising. And that's why we're very attracted by this story, because the market is potentially extraordinarily big. And of course, AI was the tool to solve this problem, and that happened way before ChatGPT and the craze. And as I say, now, of course, you might afterwards talk about your story more precisely, but it's really taking off very sharply because we are on the right trend right now, in fact. Yeah.
Cool. And did you imagine being at the same cap table with Sylvester Stallone at that time?
No, actually, and of course, it's very interesting to have anchor investors like that. Okay, beyond the money, of course, it brings credibility, and because the movie industry is a very special industry, like many industries. So you have to be inside this industry, inside this network, and that was really a funny part in terms of the story, the history of the company. Yeah.
Yeah, just from that point, we have both American VCs and Swiss European VCs. Yeah. And how would you compare those two from your own perspective?
Yeah. Between American and European VCs?
All Swiss specifically, yeah.
I would say the Americans tend to see the sky is the limit. In Switzerland, the sky is usually the ceiling here. And this is a major difference. They are talking about big numbers. If you start a company, it's really to be big. Even a unicorn is a small company for them. And this is really something very special about the Americans. And we have a lot to learn from them. They don't do everything right, but I think this is super interesting. It's super inspiring when you co-invest with large American VCs. Yeah.
Yeah, and after the investment, how do you handle it? Well, let me ask this way.
Yeah.
Were there some moments that you were really worried about us? And what are red flags in general for you? Yeah.
I think anyone who says no is a liar. Of course, you are worried. You are worried because sometimes you say, okay, is it the right market? Maybe we should go to another vertical, or which sequence we have to choose, which are we really on the right direction? And it's very important to have this discussion from time to time to put everything on the table and say, okay, what
Thank
are we
you
doing?
very much, Bertrand. Very good answer. I'm sorry to cut you short. Okay. So now, who has some questions for Bertrand and Da? Okay, here we go. Can I hand you over? Good.
Thank you. A question probably from you, Sami, and then a question for you, Bertrand, if you mind. What did resonate with Bertrand as you were refused? What did resonate with him for him to get on board?
I think from our side, at early stage, people who are ambitious about what we are doing, as I mentioned, actually we were a bit outlier in the ecosystem doing AI for Hollywood. And in general, most of our earlier investors, they were themselves were really ambitious about the industry itself. And I think that was like an important part. And yeah.
Okay, next question.
Hi, Vincent here. Just a quick question for you two. Do you think you met at the right time? Or could have been earlier? Or
from our side,
Or
yes,
both?
I think it was.
Yeah.
It was really right time because like DA was our first VC and it helped us to open the door for the next VCs as being first mover here. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the right time. You can always do ex post rationalization, saying we were genius to come exactly at the right time and on the right trend. But you know that the history is not like that. You need to have some luck also sometimes, you know, because we're on the right trend. And of course, with ChatGPT 2.5 years ago release, so it put AI everywhere on the map. So it changed the landscape, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, one last question.
Hi. On your slide, you had mentioned you're not interested in heavily regulated industry. No, you didn't say industries, markets, if I'm not mistaken. Do you see the markets as certain industries that you don't invest in or parts of a value chain?
Yeah, typically biotech, for the simple reason that these are factors we can't control. These are decisions that are part of the FDA or CE, and that's why we don't like that too much. It doesn't mean that we would completely exclude, but this is an additional risk, and it's already a very risky environment. And the second thing is that we don't have any knowledge.
Thank you very much, Bertrand. Great answer. Second thing, we'll take it offline, and the further questions you can take offline with Bertrand. Thank you very much. Before I close. Okay, next up, we have Daniel from Space House. It sounds good too. Yeah, maybe we space out. We're going to see Angzora Lab Johannes. Please take it away.
Thank you much for the intro. We're from Spice House, and we invest in companies that have the following, or that match the following criteria. Headquarters in Switzerland, B2B, technology, and revenues. But most of all, I want to invest in founders that are bloody committed to success. If you have that, I'm more than happy to add spice to your company. And I want to have my intro very brief, because I would very much appreciate if you have more questions than what I heard in the previous ones. Be bold, surprise me, steam me, because I think that's the whole purpose here. So that's why I want to introduce Johannes, who's the head of finance at Xror Lab, a cybersecurity company. That is in our portfolio for 6 years already, so they should have gotten more than one chili from us. Johannes, please grill me.
Wow, Johannes, before we do it, applause also for Daniel. I would say next time we do elevator pitches, you qualify for that. So thank you, Johannes.
Yeah,
Take it away.
perfect. So before we start into the Q&A, let me also add that we raised our Series A in 2021. That was a bit of a different fundraising environment, and since then we have been through some challenging times. The success is not always linear, so I think you would agree that there is a lot of also active involvement from your side. But for the to the Q&A, investors always tend to pitch, in a fundraising round, their strengths, what they bring to the table, across the board. And so my first question for you is, where do you see genuinely your weaknesses in supporting founders? And how does that translate into, your active involvement or the topics you take on when, supporting founders and startups?
Thank you. Nobody wants to talk about weaknesses, usually, especially not if you're in front of investors/founders. We're a small team, we're a boutique, that's our approach. So if you look at the definition of a VC, you might have Sequoia, Andreessen Horowitz, etc. in front of your eyes. We don't have 100 analysts. We can't build all your spreadsheets, etc. We can't support you every day. Hence, on my agenda, I don't have Monday morning, 9 o'clock, I call Johannes every week. So there are limits to what we can provide, but we would like to be hands-on, we would like to be close to you. And also in our portfolio, we have 20 to 25 companies per fund. So there is not 100 people or 100 companies in our portfolio. So everything is limited, but focused.
Okay, so I mean, this is grilling, but just to build on top, because now it sounds a bit like you're actually more hands-off. But how does our relationship look like? Where do you push us? Where does it also, from your perspective, hurt? To hear the reality from the founder's perspective.
You said before that the growth or the road to success is not only linear. What we all want is to come from the bottom left to the top right, right? Ideally exponentially. There are parts that every founding or management team needs to learn. Not everybody has all the skills at the beginning. And there are things where I would be very happy if you do not fall into certain pitfalls or don't make the same mistakes twice. So I think it's a little bit like management by exceptions or educating, looking at your child that grows up. So there are a few mistakes that you need to make. There are a few fingers that you need to burn on the oven. But there are a few other things that I prefer to step in when I see that there are stumbling blocks or that things we can avoid. And in a very tech-oriented country like Switzerland, I'm a big fan of selling, of growing, and not creating the perfect product. Be close to the clients, and this is what I preach, this is what I drill, this is what I beat into the tech founders.
Sounds brutal.
Sounds brutal, and this is exactly what we experience. I think we came in 2021. We came from a very, it's an ETH spin out from a very product-centric organization and had to, find the transition into a growth organization, make the changes, and really, go away from that mindset of, engineer the product until it's perfect before you ship it. But yeah, it's also a tough journey. Do we have one more?
Yeah. Well, he did such a short pitch. He won yourself a lot of time.
So one thing in the intro you pointed out, one of the strengths is the focus on Switzerland, and we are a Swiss startup. So also the growth journey is first in the home market. We've now established a solid market position in Switzerland. Now the next phase is going beyond Switzerland and expanding across the borders. And how do you, as a Switzerland-focused investor, back or support in that transition when you could imagine that the network stops, or the deep network stops in Switzerland?
I think it's very important to know your investor that you pair up with and about their strengths and weaknesses. We want to make sure when we invest at an early stage that we lay the foundation for your growth, for your scalable growth. Because without that, either you fail or you go into a premature scaling and then you fail again. Yes, we do have a network outside of Switzerland, but there are limits. So we very much want to make sure that together, when we're sitting in the same boat, that we achieve the next milestones. If we achieve the next milestones, we can hit the next funding round and we can close the next funding round successfully together. hopefully at one point, the next or the next funding round will attract investors that will help you then on the next growth phase. And that might be then a more international investor, a bigger one that has the next level of connections.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniel. I liked your answer. You were sharp and to the point. You won your team a lot of time, so we can take 4 Q&A questions.
I don't know if that is good for me or bad.
Well, seems
Let's
like
find
there's
out.
already a duo already here.
So, Daniel, you mentioned that there are some mistakes founders have to do, and some where you step in and look that they don't. So, what are that problems they have to face themselves, and where you step in advance?
I see a lot of founders who want to do everything themselves. They want to find out which CRM they want to use, with which lawyer they want to work, which markets they want to address first. But there are so many founders who already went through the journey. In our portfolio, we really try to encourage the founders to have a peer-to-peer exchange so that you can learn. Like XRLab, 6 years in the portfolio versus another one who just joined recently. It's not the same level. Talk to them. And this is something that is not being used to leverage the knowledge.
Yeah, that's good. We like the answer.
Who of you two makes the exit strategy and implements it?
Exit. We are, not talking about exits at this time. No, but I think
Questions.
we are IPOing.
I think you got the answer now.
No, but I think in general, or my personal point of view would be the exit strategy, or also a fundraising strategy, is a directional decision of the company, and that needs to come or needs to be driven from the startup, but also in the process, and there are fundraising events. We choose, and I would always recommend it, to really work close together with the investors, because they are, experts in the events. They look at things that you might not be aware of, because you are, an operator. You build a product to sell to your customers, and there are other aspects in this whole process that matter as well, that drive value. And there, we actively seek guidance and challenges.
Okay,
from
I
our
have to now.
investors.
Also, Johannes, very nice answer. But so that you have 4 questions, we have to continue. Short question, short answers.
What was the hardest conversation you ever had with the founder, and how did it go?
That their growth is not good enough, and having them accept it, with all the consequences that are coming from it.
Okay, now fire question and fire answer.
What are the interesting countries or regions that you're looking to internationally grow into that are exciting for you?
For our startups, because we only invest in Swiss startups, it really depends. I think the biggest mistake is...
Thank you very much, Daniel. It depends. VC's favorite answer. You guys did amazing.
Thank you.
Good. So next up, our final duo. It's Clea from Swisscom Ventures and Chris from CDDS. Is that the right way to pronounce you?
CDDS.
CDDS. Okay, let's go. Clea, take it away. You have a 3-minute pitch.
All right, good. Hello, everyone. I'm Claire Wenger, Investment Director at Swisscom Ventures. We are a leading Swiss VC fund, 600 million assets under management. We invest at least 50% of that into Swiss tech companies. Broadly speaking, we invest into digital and deep tech. And we do tickets between 1 to 10 million initially, and we also have follow-on capital reserved after that. And in Switzerland, we also lead rounds. And that was already my pitch.
Applause for Clea's elevator pitch. Good. So, Clea, you again won. Chris, more time. Chris, take away the Q&A.
Yeah. Why don't you introduce you first quickly?
Sure. Let's start with that. So, hi everyone. My name is Chris. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of CDS. We build kinetic interceptor drones, so full autonomous drones, which take down other drones and other aerial threats. So, to keep it very simple, we protect and save lives.
So, Chris, when you were raising, you had different options. Why did you choose? Why did you pick us?
Yeah, it was a difficult decision to take. We were looking for a partner who has international exposure, plus who has a great reputation in the market. And for us, very important. We were raising our seed round. We wanted to have someone who can stay with us and support us also then afterwards for a potential Series A, Series B round as well. Yeah, I would also like to say the same question back to you. Why did you choose us?
Yeah, so with CDDS, it was an interesting one because we didn't know the company, and actually Swiss InnoForces, which is a potential customers of yours, actually made us aware of the technology and the company and said, like, hey, you should take a look at this. It's quite interesting, and we need it. And so we did. And we quickly realized that there is a huge unmet need in the market and that you have a very interesting approach and product to it. And so that was, I think, one of the main validation. When a customer tells you, hey, look into this, then that's already very nice. So we've invested in about a year ago, so it's still a very early or young relationship. But I would like to know from you, like, after beyond like the capital, like what value did we bring to you so far?
I think it's two-sided. So first side is really helping to bring in the structure, building up the board. The second one is there's a lot going on the geopolitical level, and it's very difficult and challenging to navigate through that field, especially for us with our focus. And Swisscom Ventures really helped us there with their network to bring in different contacts with whom we could talk to and better navigate through that. And with that, I would also like to ask you, like I just mentioned, network, beyond capital, what can you offer to different startups?
Yeah, so we also have a platform team. So these are 3 people in our group that are actually not doing investments, but they are really purely focused on supporting our portfolio companies. One person doing more the marketing and communications side and really trying to open doors there. And then we have 2 people doing business development. And I mean, as you know, Swisscom has a very broad B2C, but also B2B customer base. And so we support a lot of our portfolio companies, companies that are more like in the cybersecurity space or B2B SaaS solutions, fintech. There we can actually support them quite a lot on the go-to-market with customer introductions, with ecosystem access, etc.
Let's go. Oh, no, I'm reading it. No. Clea, you can continue with the plan.
Yeah, maybe, Chris, like what's something that founders underestimate when they have to pick the right investors?
I think it's like a marriage. It's like a partner you bring on board for the long journey, so which is very helpful, but you go through very great times, but you also go through challenging times. So I think that the personal fit is very important. And I think that's when choosing the right investor, it's very important to feel that connection. So far, we haven't been on karaoke yet, but this was something which we're looking for, and I encourage every founder to really also look for that connection.
Chris, you can be critical as well.
So for us, we were lucky of having a clear vision and fulfilling that and really go very much in focus. But there's a lot of companies out there who have to change their visions. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. So I think to some extent, we always expect some kind of shift in vision or product and strategy, because I think really never saw. I cannot actually, I do have only one case where I think it's going linear and not a roller coaster journey, but usually it's a roller coaster journey, and we always expect some shift from what we hear in the pitch in the beginning. But like if it's really a bigger, I think, pivot, then what is important is that we as investors really understand that this is based on data and that this is really driven from learnings and insights from customers, from the market, and that it's not just like, the founders from an emotional perspective, just want to do something different. Or, and I think that, yeah, if it's really data-driven, then we are very supportive, obviously, and our role it would be then to really just challenge the assumptions, and then once the new strategy is set, that just to support to execute it. And as you said, I think it's
we
super.
have one more time for one sharp question from Chris to Clea.
What has been your biggest learning so far in your investment portfolio?
That really, apart from one case, every story is a roller coaster. Every journey is a roller coaster journey. It's things change. Like when you think between investment and exit, it's like 5-7 years. How the world changes and how much things change, and it's always one can be a super performing company and then suddenly
it drops. Okay, big round of applause. Thank you both. Now we have time. Again, they were speedy, so we get 4 questions, sharp and pointed answers. I'm always going to look, because you asked one before. Is there some new people that want to ask questions? No. Okay, here we go. I will get
What was the case that just went up, and what were they doing right?
Yeah, it's Preply. It's a edtech company. It's actually a marketplace for language tutors, and it's incredible. Even with AI, I thought that it's going to be completely disrupted, because now you can just talk to chats and even in voice, right? And no, they are performing. They are outperforming quarter after quarter. It's growing. They're planning to IPO at some point. Language tutors, is something that people want, and it's growing. I don't know, yeah. It's it's actually a mystery to me, but yeah.
Thank you. Next question.
What do you do when you run out of money? I mean, I asked the VC. You know, we hear many things that some VCs, they still have money, but they have to keep it for the next rounds for the companies they are already invested. So, and from the outside, it's difficult to see whether a VC is actually actively investing or not.
Interesting question for Swisscom. For the other funds. Okay, sorry.
No, why you mean for Swiss? Because we have a fund with institutional investors.
Yeah, exactly.
Which are Swiss pension funds.
That's
so we are like an independent VC. So we are not investing from balance sheet, and our fund is not unlimited, right?
Yeah.
No, but this is exactly like when we do an investment, we always think about how much follow-on capital do we need to reserve for this specific case, because obviously, if the company develops well, or even also if it not develops well, we need capital for follow-on rounds, also not to get diluted in further rounds. And so this allocation can obviously during the time, like with the time, also change. Allocations can be adjusted, and then maybe there is more freed up capital for new investments or not.
Great. Next question.
Yes, Swisscom Ventures, you are the big fish here, kind of, for Switzerland. So my question would be, do you invest into early stage, so seed rounds?
Yeah, we have done a seed round. CDDS was a seed round. We did a 5 million seed round there. I think because the round sizes are so, let's say, random nowadays, we have done first tickets, but we also do later stage. It's just that we don't do tickets below 1 million.
Great. One more fire question, fire answer, Clea.
Founders are in the battle to be trusted. How do you manage the social currency towards a changing strategy because of the existing relationship?
Oh, sorry, I didn't get the question.
Okay. Yeah.
Founders are in the battle of being trusted. How do you manage social currency towards a changing strategy because of the existing relationship?
I'm not really getting what you want to ask.
Okay. So founders would need to build the trust, right? While you're having the social currency, meaning you are connected to a very high or influential partner. Now, because the strategy is changing of the person that's backing you, and you've also created the trust to exist in the ecosystem, how do you manage if you're changing the direction of...
I think we're going to take this one offline. Okay, a big round of applause. Now, please. Now, everybody come to stage. There's going to be a pitching winner. Startups and VCs, please join me here. Now, audience, it's up to you to decide who's the pitching winner, and we'll manage it by volume, okay? So not clapping at all, As a hard sign, I would always just increase your volume to your favorite pitcher. Please all just line up right under here. And we will start with the first pitch. No. No. And I'm not putting on a decibel app. We're going to try to do this by old classical ears. So let's first hear the applause for Pascal. Okay, Pascal, it's pretty sturdy. Let's hear the applause for Bertrand. Good too. Let's hear the applause for Daniel. Oh, Daniel. Let's hear the applause for Clea. Daniel, congratulations. Woo! Okay. Thank you all for being here. This was the last VC on the Grill session for the day, and I wish you all a nice day, and big applause to our duos.